Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the RailCats Talk podcast. I am your host, Carlos Vega, and today is going to be maybe a two-parter, as I'm recording this Thursday right before I leave to go to Off Square Brewery, where the RailCats are going to be releasing their new beer, our IPA that they're releasing it. They're releasing it from Off Square, and it's going to be sold at the stadium. So I'm not quite sure if I'm going to put this in today's podcast, or it may be like a special. It depends on what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'll get any interviews out of it. I just want to kind of go and see what it's like, see the players kind of get a feel for them, more of I don't want it to be, oh, I'm just the media guy and I'm just, I want to build a relationship, if that kind of makes sense. I'm new starting this, so it's not like I'm, know everyone. I'd rather it not be every time that I'm around someone, if I meet a player, not every time do I want it to be an interview. Maybe I just want to have a casual conversation, have a talk. I don't want everything to be related as far as, oh, I'm gonna interview them, because sometimes you see a person, that's all they care about, and I want to build a relationship. I know sometimes players will only be here a year or two and they're off on their next adventure, but I'd rather just build a relationship, because I think that's better off in the long run, to build a relationship with the organization maybe, and be able to do what I want to do, be somewhat affiliated to a certain extent, to be able to go to the locker room, to have those interviews. But I'd rather just, it's a setting where the fans are going to be at it, kids, adults, people are going to be able to drink some beer, have some fun, get to meet the team. And I don't want to be that guy that's sitting in the corner with my phone trying to interview people. Like, I don't want that to turn into that. I'd rather it be a fun setting where I get to learn the players, get to learn their, how they act, what their fan interaction is, so on and so forth. So with a week away from playing the first game against Chicago Dogs at Impact Field, I'm going to go ahead and go through the roster list of all the pitchers, catchers, infielders, outfielders, and what they did last season. Now, I don't want to try. I tried my hardest not to be repetitive, but giving you numbers, they're going to be a little repetitive as far as the way I word everything. So I'll try to not make this a mute point to just be mundane and boring. So I'll try to give a little bit of something, but with the lack of knowledge on most of these players, I don't want to. I want to start fresh to a certain extent. I'm going to come out front with it. I'm not going to leave it, let it be. It is what it is. No, I'm going to give the numbers and potential direction that they may be coming out of. I know there's some new players that are coming in, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to start with pitchers, and I'm going to go in the order numerical. So I'll go by their numbers, not how their stats went last year or whatever. So I'll start out with number 10, Chris Irwin. Last year, he went 3-5, had a 3.09 ERA in 14 games pitched, with 9 starts, 1 save, 52.1 innings pitched, 44 strikeouts, 24 walks, and gave up 34 hits. I think, majority of MLB players are going to give up about 3 point, you're around that 3 ERA range. So Chris seems to be that person that can start and relieve a couple games, just depending on how the rotation goes. I know there's a lot of ups and downs, ebb and flows of the American Association League. I know things aren't just set in stone. Like, here's my rotation 1 through 5. They don't have, on their staff, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pitchers. I mean, 5 of them are going to be starters. You'll have a handful of them be relievers, a handful of closers. So I think, but you get a lot of different rotations out of people. I don't think you're just going to be set in, here's your 5 starting pitchers. No, you'll have a couple people that can do both, be in the bullpen or, so forth. But I'm going to go with Trevor Lubking is going to be next. Lubking, my bad. Sometimes my mouth doesn't want to work. He's number 37. I'm going to go with he's probably going to be the ace this year. He is top 25 in the American Association in ranking. I believe he is the 25th, but he is top 25. So he's the only RailCat out of it. So he's going to be the number one. He's going to be the ace. He's going to be the backbone. He's going to give good starts. A lot of the times, do I look at a win-loss percentage? No, I look more at the ERA kind of deal, the walks, that kind of stuff. So last season he went 5-9 with a 4.84 ERA in 19 games. He started 18 of them. He pitched 117 innings, walked 50, and gave up 119 hits. I believe I left out strikeouts. He did have 117 strikeouts as well. So per inning, he had a strikeout per inning. 50 walks, so that's, every 2 strikeouts-ish, he gave a walk. So that's not terrible. I mean more than that, but that's not terrible. Giving up a lot more hits. So, he's more of a contact base, it seemed like. So you need a better defense around you, and I think this year they're going to have a better defense. They had a couple signings. But I think with another year in the league, he will be better. I think he's motivated to start out better. It seems like that's where he wants to be. Then we'll go to number 41, Jack Eisenberger. Last season, he went 1-1 with a 4.61 ERA. Pitched in 7 games, started 2, pitched 25.1 innings, had 24 strikeouts, 13 walks, and gave up 28 hits. Small sample size. Would like to see some of the numbers kind of go down in the walks and the hits ratio, but small sample size, you're not going to get too much out of it. And then number 49, newly signed Aaron Phillips. A very, very small sample size he had last year. He pitched in 2 games, went 1-1 with an ERA of 1.28, 14 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts and 9 hits. So, if that's the small sample size we're going to get from Phillips, he, I believe, will be very successful in the rotation for the RailCats, bullpen or starting. I think he has some talent there. They're it's very small sample size, but if you can give up some hits but keep the runs below, I think you'll be better off. So we'll just need better defense. Not better defense. You'll need a good defense around him that will help out. Then we look at number 56, Josh Vincent. Last season, he pitched in 9 games, started in all 9, had a record of 2-4 with an ERA of 6.2, 45 innings pitched, 27 strikeouts, 31 walks, and gave up 59 hits. Maybe not the best year, but there's always improvement. Rough couple starts here or there, that doesn't always paint a picture. You look at the numbers, they don't always paint a picture. You could have had really, 2 or 3 bad games or 1 really bad game, and it just blows your whole numbers up. But there's another solid, you can be another solid pitcher. He strikes out quite a bit, gives a little bit of walks there. Doesn't seem like he gives up a lot of hits. To a certain extent, it seems like a lot of the hits does a lot more damage. Like one of those persons where you're gonna strike him out or he's gonna hit a home run, that kind of deal. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just something you're gonna have to learn. Like I said, we'll see how this year progresses. I'll look at the numbers from last year, and then at the end of the year or throughout the year, I'll look at the numbers that they're placing now. Different year, new people. You can't really rely on a lot of it. Pitching is such a difficult place to be. Sometimes a lot of that's just based on defense, who you're pitching against, what's the weather like, what ballpark you're in, that kind of stuff. Then we'll go down to number 64, Nick Garcia. Last season played in 25 games, started 1, went 1-2 with an ERA of 5.2. He had 5 saves, pitched 50 innings, 40 Ks, walked 14 and gave up 16 hits. So I think those numbers, like he pitched in 50 innings, gave up 16 hits, and walked 14. I think that's a good number to be at. Like I see, he's more of a reliever, so his ERA is going to shoot up anyways. Being put in tough spots and tough situations as a reliever, that's very difficult. That's just something that they learn throughout the year, throughout their career. But I think he's a good backbone to the bullpen, and I'm interested to see how he's going to react this year, how he'll play. Number 66, Adam Kinfelder. Last season, he pitched 16 games while starting 7 of them. He went 5-4 with an ERA of 4.11, 59 innings pitched, 62 Ks, 27 walks, and gave up 68 hits. So he's basically a strikeout per inning guy. Give up a hit per inning. ERA around the average time you want to be. Now let's look at number 81, Carlos Vega. Came over from the Frontier League, where he went 3-4, had an ERA of 5.32. In 25 games, he started in 8 of them and pitched in 71 innings and had 84 strikeouts. Number 82, Harrison Francis. Last year played in the low A for Arizona. The Diamondbacks, he recorded a 1-2 and had an ERA of 9.72 in 24 games, 26 innings pitched, 31 strikeouts, 35 walks, and gave up 31 hits. Number 83, Leaf Strum. Last season played for the Washington Nationals low A team in 27 games, where he started 2, had an ERA of 9.5, 1 save, with a record of 1-4. He pitched 41.2 innings, had 40 strikeouts, 37 walks, and gave up 59 hits. And then we're getting into the 2 newly signed pitchers this year. Number 84, Elio Serrano. Last season played low A ball baseball with the Dodgers organization. He played in nine games. He had an ERA of 10.8. While pitched in 10 innings, he had 11 strikeouts, 3 walks, gave up 18 hits. Now that was last year. Maybe not the best circumstances. Maybe he was put in. I think Elio and Edward Cuello, who I'll talk about next, I think they will be decent additions. It seems like they have good arms. Just maybe weren't put in the right situations, and maybe this year with the RailCats, they're put in a lot better situations and are able to succeed easily or better. Number 85, like I said, newly signed Edward Cuello. Played high A last year with the Dodgers. He played in 3 games, had an ERA of 6.43, gave up 4 hits in 7 innings. He had 4 strikeouts and 2 walks. Let's go ahead and look at the catchers. Chris Burgess, number 59, last season played with the Baltimore Orioles minor league system, where he played with 3 teams. That was the Bowie Bay Sox, Aberdeen Ironbirds, and the FCL Oriole Black, which is like their rookie ball team. With those 3 teams, he played in 59 games, had a batting average of 2.12, had 151 at-bats, scored 20 runs, hit the ball 32 times, 7 doubles, 3 home runs, while driving in 17. His on-base percentage was .328, slugging was .318, and his OPS was .646. Looking at the catcher from last year, number 72, Jackson Smith, last season with the RailCats, played in 62 games, had an average of 174 with 178 at-bats, scored 15 runs, 31 hits, 7 doubles, 1 triple, 2 RBIs, and 7 doubles, 1 triple, 2 home runs, and 19 RBIs. There we go. I think with the addition of Chris, I think it strengthens the core of the catchers a little bit. I think he'll bring a little bit of that experience from last year in an organization like Baltimore Orioles, in their system, kind of playing with 3 different teams. I know he was up and down between double, single, and the rookie league and all that other stuff, but I think he may be better suited just playing with one team, or if he gets an opportunity to go somewhere, we'll just kind of see how that works out. Jackson Smith, I think he's looking to have a better year as far as average-wise, and maybe bringing in a couple more runs, but we'll see how that goes. We'll look at infielders. Number 2, Michael Woodworth. Last season with the RailCats, he played in 31 games with an average of 367 and 120 at-bats, scored 22 runs, hit the ball 44 times, had 8 doubles, 2 triples, 2 home runs, 17 RBIs, and stole 8 bases. Now, with the fielding and all that other stuff, I'm not going to mention like all the time how they walked or, how many times they walked and how many times they stole bases. If it's a bigger number, I'll probably go, if they haven't had any significant, if it's 1 stolen base, whatever, they have 22 stolen bases or 30 walks, like I'll kind of mention that to see, what kind of person you have. If you have a speedster, if you have a guy that has a good eye, always taking walks, that kind of stuff. Now we'll look at number 7, Thomas Walraven, who played a big role last year with the RailCats. He played in 71 games, had 75 hits, scoring 40 times, hit 6 home runs, 16 doubles, and 46 RBIs. He had an average of 281, stole 5 bases, and walked 26 times. Another big batter in the lineup, number 44, Danielle Lingua. Last season hit a whole lot. Oh, wait. Last season, he hit a whole lot. He also pitched in three innings. He struck out 1 and gave up a hit. Now looking at his batting, he had 313 at-bats, scored 37 times, had 88 hits, 16 doubles, 5 triples, 3 home runs, 42 RBIs with an average of 281. He also walked 45 times while striking out 86. He also stole 13 bases. So, like I said, walked 45 times. Obviously, the strikeouts I kind of mentioned, but he played a whole lot. So, sometimes the strikeouts happen. But as long as the strikeouts are a little bit lower, I think he'll have a better season. He had a great season as it was. But he's another player that, fans know and love. Lingua is a good player, so is Walraven. So it'll be interesting to see what transpires this year. Now looking at number 60, KV Edwards, a local prospect from Hammond, played last season with the Tampa Bay Rays rookie league ball. Played in 6 games where he had 18 at-bats, scored 6 runs, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and an average of 278 and slugged 611. So I think looking at that numbers, I think he's going to be a consistent guy that we should look out for, and we'll have a good year. Now, number 61, Davion Williams. Last season played with the St. Louis Cardinals Single A affiliate, where he played 46 games, 31 hits on 141 tries, scored 19 runs, had 4 doubles, 1 home run, 12 RBIs with an average of 220, slugging at 270. Returning this year, number 62, Tommy McCarthy. Last season played in 39 games, had 113 at-bats, an average of 221. 25 hits, scored 15 runs, hitting 6 doubles and driving in 9. Newly signed, number 63, Michael Cruz, who brings a lot of power. He already played in 1 game this year with the Salt Lake Bees, where he went 1 for 1 with a double and brought in a run while playing last year in Double A with the Angels system. He played 64 games, 179 at bats, scoring 27 times, hitting the ball 39 times. Had 5 doubles, 9 home runs, and 29 RBIs with an average of 218 and a slugging of 397. So I think he'll bring a very good power structure to the RailCats. Get a couple people on base. He'll probably be your cleanup guy, and he'll let the ball fly. He's a big left-handed at bat that seems like is needed. Now let's look at the outfielders. Number 11, MJ Rooked. Last season played with the RailCats, 59 games, 22 at-bats, scored 35 runs, hit the ball 35 times with 10 doubles, 2 triples, 2 home runs, 24 RBIs, and an average of 259 while stealing 9 bases. Raymond Jones, another local product from Valpo, last season played in 68 games, 28 runs, 57 hits, 15 doubles, 3 triples, 4 home runs while driving in 30 and had an average of 241 while walking 29 games. Now I know Valpo is quite a bit from Gary, but we'll just take the Northwest Indiana portion of it and we'll just make that the product, the local product. Sometimes I say that, people in Chicago, they might have been like from Rockford or something else. They'll kind of mention they're from Chicago. So from the area, you know what I'm saying? Jesus Marigan played in 80 games. He's number 18, by the way. Played in 80 games with the RailCats last season. Had an average of 284, having 292 at-bats, scoring 35 runs, 83 hits, 9 doubles, 3 triples, 2 home runs, 31 RBIs. He also had 19 stolen bases. So, speed guy, can get on base, gets a lot of hits, and longevity, the durability, playing 80 games in a season is impressive. So look to see him out there on the field again. Zach Wells, number 20. He played in 43 games last season for the RailCats. He had 38 hits, 144 at-bats, scoring 26 runs, 9 doubles, 5 triples, and driving in 25 with an average of 264. Number 34, Alec Oled, another local product from Crown Point. He played 67 games with the RailCats, had 214 at-bats, 60 hits, 41 runs, 10 doubles, 4 triples, 5 home runs, 37 RBIs while having an average of 280. Davion Williams, number 70, played in 52 games with the Giants Low A and Rookie League. He played in 52 games, 134 at-bats, 26 runs, 70 hits, 9 doubles, 3 home runs, 27 RBIs, an average of 209 while stealing 15 bases. So looking at another guy, I think they brought this year a better pitching staff with a little bit better power core with the fielding, bats wise. So I think this year is going to be a lot more productive as far as pitching and hitting. I think we'll have more games where, last year you may not have won the shootout games just because maybe the power wasn't there and maybe the pitching fully wasn't there yet. So I think this year, the pitching and hitting, I think they could win now in both scenarios. Not saying that they might not make the playoffs. I think they'll make a better step forward. I still think they need a veteran presence. I know the team is still very young, and that just kind of comes with the money and other things. So they're getting a lot of players that were in systems last year in being drafted and maybe not making the team, or maybe the team just doesn't need them. But that doesn't mean that they're not capable. So you look at the Cardinals, you have people in the Cardinals organization, the Dodgers organization, the Angels organization, the Giants organization. Like, those are still, those teams, they're good teams. They're stacked teams. Their farm systems are stacked. So I think having those players that are with that know how to win in that realm can help out in the long run with the RailCats and what their team is going to turn out to be. So I think this year is going to be a lot better than last year. I think the numbers are going to be better. This is a promising team. I'm not saying this team is going to be lights out, but they're taking the next step. You got a new manager, Coach Rogers. I think he brings that energy, what they're looking for, ready to play baseball in a new environment, a new style. Kind of, it seems like he'll let the players play, critique them a little bit, but he's bringing the high energy players in that want to play, that want to be motivated to play every day. It's kind of like the way it seems is like the way the White Sox played last year. They're showing emotion. They're ready to come to the ballpark every day, and I think that excitement's there. I think they're ready to take the next step and get back in the playoffs and be a successful team like they were in years past. And now it's just about maintaining that, and I think that's where they're going with this. They're going to maintain it. I think they're going to have a better year. I'll be interested to see what they're going to do, how they're going to work it out. So it'll be very interesting. Now, like I said, this may be a two-parter. If there's more to it, you'll know. Obviously, the video will be a little bit longer. Like I said, I like to keep it under 30 minutes. But if it's not, I'll probably have a Saturday podcast, which will be technically tomorrow. Today's Thursday for me, but we're just going to go off of when the podcast is going to be posted out. On Saturday, it'll just kind of be like what it was like, how the beer was, how the team looks, how they feel about the season coming in, and just kind of getting a feel for everyone, and not just, maybe a couple interviews. I don't know. I'm going with my fiance, so I don't know how it's all going to work out. But I wanted to at least get this out, because if I didn't get this out, tomorrow's my birthday, which technically today is my birthday on the podcast, then, I want to have a day where I'm not worrying about anything, just kind of take the day off. So this may be a two-parter. If not, there'll be an ending and so on and so forth. So potentially part two. And I'm back for part two of the podcast. I wasn't sure if I was going to put this on this one or potentially do a Saturday special, but I think I can wrap it up in about 10 minutes or so. So thank you to Off Square Brewery and the RailCats. Well, mostly Off Square for hosting the RailCats, and then coming out with a new IPA beer. It's called the Cats Meow, which is going to be sold at the stadium. Now, obviously, I didn't go for free or anything like that. I just want to thank Off Square for doing this and teaming up with the RailCats, because I think it's a good idea for the RailCats to get some local recognition from a brewery to sell something at the stadium that gets more people in, because craft beer is the new in, I should say. I'm not a huge craft beer fan, especially not an IPA fan. But the Cats Meow is a really pretty good IPA. It's hoppy, but it's smooth and light. It's probably one of the better IPAs I've had. Like I said, I'm not a big IPA fan, and I had about 2 of them, and that's impressive, because normally I drink one, I'm like, all right, this IPA is just not for me. And I was actually highly impressed with it. So I'm excited to see what it's going to go for in the stadium, and if it's a hit or not. I believe Off Square is going to have it there at Off Square. So if you're not going to go out to the game, I'm pretty sure you should go out to Off Square and have yourself a pint of it, or whatever ounce it is, 8 ounce, whatever they give you. It was very good. I thought that, walking in, I know it was a rainy, gloomy day, but walking into it, as soon as you walked in, they were kind of the RailCats, some of the players, and at the time when I walked in, it was Coach Sinjim and Coach Robinson were sitting there at a separate table than the players. The players were up talking to each other. A couple of them were drinking some beers. You had a bunch of kids running around, interacting with the players, and then I turn around and Rusty's sitting there in the little business section area that they have, and he's interacting with the kids, walking around interacting with the fans, just kind of having he kind of stole a little bit of the show sometimes. I mean, it's Rusty, that's what he's gonna do. He was having fun with the other people that were in there, with the customers, with the staff, that kind of stuff. He came over and, gave him a high five, that kind of cool stuff. He really stole some of the show. I mean, he had a couple kids like screaming like, "Oh, I'm scared of this guy," because some kids are scared of mascots. They don't fully understand. And then I would say probably about 5:40, 5-ish, Coach Rogers showed up. I was debating on whether or not to really approach any of them, to talk to them, that what I'm doing. It's one of those that I don't know if I don't feel comfortable yet, because not a lot of people know that I'm doing this, and it's just kind of one of those that I work a lot from behind the scenes. I don't take a lot of pictures of myself. I don't do a lot of that stuff. So, coming up out front was a little nerve-wracking. I had a little bit of liquid courage, but walking up to Coach Rogers and then introducing myself to him and kind of, just trying to talk to him a little bit, try to get a feel for the kind of person he is, the feel of the coaching staff, and it's an awkward situation in the first place, trying to promote yourself to someone that isn't really big in the social media realm. And he said that, after I talked to him, I said, I run the RailCats Talk podcast. It's on YouTube, that kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. He goes, I'm not really big in the social media, but my kids are, so that's just one of those things that, it was one of those kind of interesting, it's a little awkward at the beginning, but hopefully the more games I go to, the more I potentially will see him and talk to him and get a better feel for him. I mean, he's a great guy. Don't get me wrong. I think Coach Rogers is going to be great for the community. I think he's going to be great for the team and the coaching staff that he put around him. Coach Robinson, the hitting coach, with his experience with them two going back to Houston, he was talking about Coach Sinjim, that he's known him for 20 years. They're his ride or die guys. So I think that's a good coaching staff they have together. And I will be interested to see, where the progress goes with the team. I also talked a little bit to Harrison Francis. It's still kind of awkward a little bit for me to kind of try to, like I said, talk to them, get a, kind of feel for them. It's a little intimidating, if that makes sense. It's not like they knew who I am and what I'm doing. So I don't want to come off as that like pushy guy that's like, oh, I gotta talk to you, I gotta promote. So I want to wait. I want to go to a couple games, get a feel for it. But I think overall it was a good experience, and I hope they do something like that every year. If they go out and do something, if it's at Off Square or if it's off at another site where they, maybe have a little fan interaction with people, kind of like a red carpet event kind of deal, like a convention. I know some professional teams, NHL, MLB, they have like a convention type. I think that would be interesting if they had, a 2-3 hour convention at a certain location. Maybe, they sit down and have raffles or games or something, and then they have like a media session, where fans can ask questions. I think that would be interesting to have, that kind of setup. But I think to get people to come out to Off Square, especially on a Thursday between 5 and 7, I thought it was pretty impressive. There was a couple families there, a couple, people won some prizes. I think there was a signed baseball, a hat, little bat, a signed shirt, sweatshirt, that kind of stuff. So overall, I think they did a very good job, and I hope they can kind of continue it, because I think it brings out people out. And the one thing before I leave, I just want to really recognize the RailCats for their great job, outstanding job in the community. They recently revamped a baseball stadium, a youth baseball stadium in Gary. I think that's the type of stuff that you want to see from a local baseball team. It's great to see the players out there making that progress, flipping a field. Basically, I mean the field. You look at before and afters. You just go to the RailCats Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You just see the transformation. Even the American Association, chimed in and promoted it as well. And it's nice to see, because eventually I want to get to that point to where I'm working a full-time job. My fiance's working a full-time. This is a hobby for me. And I think it would be nice to get to the point to where if I am making money from this, or I'm making something from this, that some of this or all of it can get donated to underfunded youth. I think that's a good thing to look forward to, because I think kids need sports. They need sports in life. I think sports teach kids a lot of things in life, and how to work as a team, how to take responsibility for your own actions, how to rely on other people, rely on yourself, that kind of stuff. Sports teach you a lot, and I think baseball is one of those sports that teaches a lot mentally. Yes, baseball is physical, but it's not the physical extent of like football, basketball, hockey, wrestling, swimming. Baseball is more mental. Most people you talk to, baseball is 80% mental, 20% skill. I mean, if you mentally put yourself and apply yourself, majority of the time you will be good or succeed in baseball. I'm not saying that you're going to make it all the way to the top, but I think if you have a good attitude, a good head on your shoulders, you will make it far enough in baseball to where you look around and say, you know what, I don't have to be 6 foot tall and weigh 230 pounds. I still can be 5'6", 150 pounds and still be successful. I mean, it's one of those sports that you can be successful no matter your body shape, size, skill. It's a sport for everyone. And I think with the RailCats giving back to the community, I think it's a great thing. But I hit the 10-minute mark. I'm just gonna wrap it up over the top. I had a fun time tonight, which would have been Thursday night, which was last night. It was very fun, interesting. Got some free tickets, so on and so forth. I think it was a good time, and I hope the RailCats keep promoting that kind of stuff, because it's one of those. It's interesting, and it's a way to get people out to the ballpark. So be sure to catch a game this year. Give back to them as they have given back to the community. And the more you give to them, the more they're going to give back. And it's going to be a healthy relationship. But that's going to wrap it up for this week's podcast. I'm your host, Carlos Vega. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at RailCats Talk, and on Instagram and Facebook and all the other good stuff. If you really enjoy the podcast, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to you next week as we get ready for the the season opener on 13th on Thursday against the Friday against the Chicago Dogs. But that's going to do it for me. Remember, go Cats.